Hey Muse Makers, welcome back. Today we are going to be painting a beautiful snow globe with a very jolly snowman inside. I'm working on an 8x10 canvas panel, and these colors here, I have some white, green, black, blue, red, yellow, and brown. I also have some mixing plates to mix up all my colors on, 3 brushes, a big brush, a medium brush, and a small brush, as well as a water vessel to keep my brushes nice and fresh and to rinse them off. Whoopsie. I also have some paper towels to dry off my brushes, so that way my painting does not cry. And of course, figure out what you're wearing or the surface that you are painting on. Make sure everything is protected clothes-wise, surface-wise, and let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is take our small brush in yellow paint. We're going to basically draw out where our snow globe is going to be before we paint anything in. So first thing we're going to draw is a nice big circle that covers a very, very large area, barely any amount of space left over on the top and the sides. On the bottom, you can leave a little bit more space. I would say maybe about that much. And we're going to draw ourselves a little circle here, or in this case, a big circle. It's okay if it's not perfect at first. That's why we're doing it in a nice light color so that you can tweak it, fix it up a little bit if you need to. Then we're going to draw the base for our snow globe. So I'm going to be drawing a line, not right on the bottom of the circle, but up a little bit. Leave a couple centimeters or like an inch or so on the edge. Then we're going to bring that line down straight on both sides, about an inch or two. And the line's going to curve out to the edge a little bit further. And then down all the way to the bottom edge. Next, we're going to draw in the base for our snowman. So I'm going to start with the bottom part of the body. It's like a nice big kind of rock or boulder shape. Then the next snow piece is going to be off to the left a little bit. It's kind of leaning back. And then the head is going to come back towards the center. Next up, we're going to be mixing the blue that's going inside the snow globe. I'm going to be using a medium brush, grabbing 1 scoop of white, and a very small touch of blue. We want to make this a really pale blue, nice sky blue. And I'm going to fill in everything inside the snow globe, but outside of my snowman. Next up, we're going to be cleaning off our brush and mixing up the brown that's going into our background. I'm going to be grabbing a 1/2 scoop of white and a full scoop of brown. Then I'm going to go ahead and fill in my background. You want to get as close to the blue as possible. It's okay if you leave a small gap though. We are going to be using some black paint around the edges. Then we're going to clean off our medium brush and grab some red paint and fill in the base for our snow globe. Next, I'm going to be putting the swirls into my snow globe. I'm going to be grabbing my small brush and I'm going to be mixing up a slightly lighter blue than my background by adding some more white to this background blue I already have. And also adding just a small touch of green, just to make it a little bit more of a warmer blue. So first I want to identify where the swirls are going to be. I want to have one that kind of goes right over the top of his head, swirls over to the right. And then I'm going to have this one that kind of goes through the middle of his body and up to this side, but doesn't really swirl. and then maybe like one in between. Now is where I can go in and kind of make some areas a little thicker. And the last bit before we take a dry break, small brush, white paint. I'm going to fill in my snowman, get rid of those yellow lines. Clean up the edges a little bit. Just be careful not to blend too much with the blue. If you get a little blue in there, it is not the end of the world. If anything, it's just highlighting the blue of your sky, like a little reflection in your snow. Then we're going to add some shadowing to this by mixing up a little bit of gray with some black and white paint. And using a very small amount on your brush to get some shadowing in. So I'm going to put basically like a line there, line on the top of the head, and then one dividing the head in the middle section. Then I'm going to rinse off my brush and utilize the white paint and gray that are already there to blend together. All right, now we're going to be taking about a 10 to 15 minute dry break. In the meantime, let me show you around our studio. Next up, we are going to be adding the white into the swirls in our snow globe. I'm going to grab my small brush in white paint, and we're going to be drawing some lines along the edges of the light blue. Some areas are going to be thicker than others. You can play with that thickness as you go. So for example, it's going to be really thick over here on the edge and then basically disappear as I work my way over to the right. Next up, I'm actually going to be taking some white paint to etch out the parts of the scarf that come out into the snow globe because I want my colors to be nice and bright and fresh. So I'm going to have a little dot here on the right side in between the head and the middle part of the body. And then I'm going to bring a line coming up, over, and back up and have it split into like a fork in the road. And I'm going to bring a line going downwards, nice little slope, back over to the right, and then go into the fork in the road. Next, we're going to work on the decoration that is in the base of our snow globe. It's basically using the same brown as our background. So if you have that color, use that. If not, you're going to need to mix up some more. It's going to be a small scoop of white and a big scoop of brown. So I'm going to just identify the center of my snow globe first with this little piece down here. It looks like a little teardrop. So just light pressure into heavy pressure. Then from there, I can do my swirls. I have one over here that starts off like an S shape, but then goes all the way out to the side and curls back in. And then I'm going to do the opposite thing to the other side. And then I'm going to draw two other little curls. a couple more teardrop shapes, kind of coming off to the sides. And then a couple little dots. I'm actually going to use my handle, dip it in the brown paint, and then poke where I want my dots to be. Next, small brush, getting back into some red paint and putting the little tiny top on my snow globe, just like a little bulb on the top edge. Give it a little hat. Sticking with the red paint, I'm going to be drawing the ribbon that goes across the top hat that's going to be up here. I'm doing this part first because you won't see the red show up as bright on top of black paint. So I'm going to be drawing like a rectangle shape that's slightly curved and leave a very small gap in between the top of the head and this ribbon. Next, I'm going to be mixing up a dark brown for the arms of my snowman. So small brush, scoop of brown, half a scoop of black. These are like little tiny tree branches. So the lines do not have to be smooth. They can be rough and jagged if you want them to be. I'm going to start at the tip of my arm. I keep it very, very light pressure so that it stays nice and thin. And then just work my way over to that middle section of the snowman body. I'm going to give him a couple of fingers. Basically just making a bunch of little Y shapes. Making sure to keep this arm over here on the right stay behind our scarf that we painted in. Clean off your small brush, grab some black paint. We're going to paint in our top hat next. I'm going to start off by kind of just tracing the top edge of the snowman's head and then drawing little C shapes, backwards C shape, and then connecting it. And filling it in. And then the top hat is actually going to curve out as it goes up. And then slightly curved like a rainbow at the top. And then you can fill in the top of the top hat. While we're working with black paint, let's put in the eyes, the mouth, the pipe, and the little buttons. Still using my small brush, I'm going to give myself 2 eyes. Boop, boop. And these don't need to be perfect. And then I'm going to do 5 dots for the smiley face. Make sure you leave room for that carrot nose. The pipe is going to be like a square shape over here in our sky of our snow globe. Square shape, but the top edge kind of flares out a little bit, almost like the top hat did. And then you're going to have a little line that brings it to the mouth. Then we're going to put 3 buttons in the middle section. 1, 2, 3. Now let's move on to our carrot nose. We're going to mix up an orange color with a little bit of white, big scoop of yellow, tiny touch of red. Kind of like the teardrop, instead we're going to start off with heavy pressure, and then we're going to use really light pressure at the end of the carrot. Next, it is time for our scarf. First color of our scarf is red. Small brush, red paint. I'm going to start over here on the left of my scarf, and this is going to be put in stripes. So start painting on the left edge, bring it over a little bit on the tops and bottoms, and then draw a diagonal line and stop there. You can fill in that space, and that's pretty much it for the part that goes on the neck. Now for the parts that are here in our scarf that fly in the air. I'm going to start where I have put that little circle, come down the scarf some, stop maybe just a little bit past the arm, put pretty much the same amount of red over here on the top part of the scarf. And I'm going to put a little dot of this red on the left side of that circle of our scarf. Next color is the brown that we use for our background. So grabbing that brown, I'm actually going to add a little bit of yellow into it, make it a little bit more goldeny. This will be the next color in our scarf. Last color for our scarf is the green. I'm going to grab some green and yellow paint, make it a little bit more on the grassy side. Maybe even a touch of black just to deepen it a touch. We're going to go back into some red to get the tips of our scarf, where it goes into like a little fork in the road. Next, it's time to do all the tracing with black paint. So we're going to trace the snow globe, the top of the snow globe, and the base of our snow globe with black paint. I'm going to use my small brush, and we want to use really, really light pressure so that these lines are very thin. With our dark brown paint, we're going to add a couple of small lines in the carrot nose. Little curved lines. Now it's time to add all the white detailing. So I'm going to use the back end of my small brush, dip it in white paint, and we're going to be putting little dots of white in the eyes, in the buttons, in the top of our snow globe, in the brown swirls in the base of our snow globe. And then also white dots all in the snow globe, because of course, what is a snow globe without snow? Don't be afraid to also put some of these pieces of snow on top of, say, like the hat or the arms or the scarf. And the last step, we're going to add a little bit of white into the scarf by putting white lines in between each of our colors. And there we go. We have created a very beautiful snow globe painting. I hope you had a very fun time at my tutorial. And don't forget to sign your painting when you are finished. Most people sign them in the bottom right-hand corner, but of course you can sign them wherever you wish, just so you take the credit in case you sell it for millions online. You never know. You never know. We would also love to see what you have painted at home. Don't forget to post on social media and tag us at muse_paintbar so we can check them out. And if you had a really fun time and would like to see more from our channel, don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you again next time.